Here you can see this.
You wish. I mean, how exactly do you envision this playing out? Were you just gonna keep sending me baby invitations? Online until I don't know what, throw up? What are you imagining me coming up to Massachusetts? What's the deal? I don't understand. How are you thinking this is gonna go? So, by the way, guys, the tick is technically not an insect. It's more closely related to arachnids, to spiders. A spider is one thing, along with clowns and crabs and vampires. It's another way that this cult, this group, whatever you want to call them. I call them, again, I dubbed them the Western cult a long while back. That's one way that another way that they represent themselves is, it kind of goes in line, I think, with the Hydra or the squid, this multi-tentacled thing. Remember that spiders spin webs. It's kind of like getting caught in a web, or getting caught between the different mouths of the Hydra monster, the multi-headed monster, or running from one tentacle of the squid or octopus into another tentacle. So it's the same basic idea, but again, they reference these symbols in tricky, veiled ways. And here's another way. He is talking about the tick. So again, it's technically not an insect. It is more closely related to spiders, arachnids, and spiders for various reasons. One being they have 8 legs. Remember how 8 factors into this quite a bit. Just go back and look at other videos where I talk about how 8 is connected to the heart and to Shiva and the devil archetype. You can see it in tarot cards, so on and so forth. So yeah, this is another symbol that they would use. And ticks also are vampire-like in that they suck blood. They're bloodsuckers. So it fits in a lot of ways. But yeah, again, how do you imagine this? I would love to take a peek into your imagination about how you're thinking this is going to play out, dude. No, I'll just bore her to death with video after video after video of me saying I'm going to do something that I'm too much of a coward to ever really do. Yeah, right there. Yep. So anyway, to be perfectly honest, and I don't say this with any malice, most of the time anymore, I wish I never saw your face or saw any of your videos or heard your voice, because you were kind of the catalyst of all of this. If I hadn't noticed you doing what you're doing in your videos, flashing the little gang symbols and signs, if I hadn't noticed you, none of this would be happening. I probably wouldn't even have had to have remembered Chris Thompson. So thank you for that one, by the way. Thank you for dredging him back up into my life. Lovely. And I mostly, I could have met someone else after Dan. I could have settled down with somebody and had another shot at being a mom and a normal life instead of whatever this is, where I feel like I'm being watched and gang stalked half the time, and I have just a group of creepers harassing me and saying that they're going to what is this you're going what make bibbies with me or something. Join us. Sorry, kids walking by. Yeah, so again, without any malice, I really just wish I had never, I really wish I'd never seen you half the time. I was thinking about that this morning on my way to work. And just sobbing about it, actually. I don't understand why this is happening. You know, when I said at one point that all I ever wanted was to be a mommy and a wife. That's not entirely true. That's probably, it's the biggest thing. But when I look back, I remember a lot of my childhood spent daydreaming about righting wrongs, correcting bad things that happened, that I would hear about happening, stories, little things like, Romeo and Juliet, any story where anything goes awry. I would imagine somehow finding myself in the situation, in the story, like I would be the one to stop Romeo and Juliet and be like, come on, kids, just tell your parents you're married. It's fine. They'll get over it. Like, so I guess, so maybe like years and years and years of being a little girl daydreaming about, I guess, essentially being some kind of low-key superhero. And here it is. Be careful what you wish for, dumbass. I am so the opposite of a superhero. I am the opposite. Seriously, what do you want from me? How long is this gonna go on? I'm honestly losing patience. I've learned a new word recently. It's called limerence. I hear it's psychologically no bueno. It's not good. And that you should cut ties with anyone that you think you might be in limerence with, because it'll just never be healthy, any kind of relationship. So I need to get healthier. I was on my way to getting healthier before all of this. And it's like this shit just like threw a grenade into my life, as if I didn't have enough I was dealing with my daughter. So, yeah, I guess happy Mother's Day. And I'm working on something. Here we go. Let's see. Talking about how one of the prevailing common characteristics amongst all of you, my suspects, is that you like to turn yourselves into idols, and you like to amass cult followings of people who adore you and think you're so amazing and give you their money, and this is how you make, one of the ways you make yourselves rich, by tricking a bunch of people into thinking that you're better than they are. So it's not done. I'm going to add a few more people and a bit more text. I say these things and then see if I do them. I also added a bit more, a lot of this stuff. So for example, so this one I added another line or two, edited a bit, added some more pictures. For example, a lot of this stuff occurs to me, it hits me, kind of zings me when I'm like driving, for example, and I can't just stop and pull over and write it down. So I end up having to wait however many minutes or hours before it occurs to me, or I get the chance to sit down and try to write down my thoughts. And then at that point, it's lost like half of its magic. And I've can't remember half of what came up the first time around, and or also the wording isn't quite the same. Usually it's spectacular when I first think of it, and then yeah, it's markedly less so by the time I'm done writing it out. I just butcher it. Anyway, I'm gonna try to enjoy the rest of my night on Mother's Day, and yeah, good night.